Thank you, Colleen, and thank you for all of you who have joined us today. I'm State Representative Tom Morrison. I represent the 54th House District, which is in the northwest part of Cook County. I'm here with my colleagues today to discuss the new COVID-19 proof of vaccine requirement mandated for businesses and park districts within Cook County. Here we go again. Cook County is striving to lead the nation on how to govern badly, with incoherent and heavy-handed policies against its own residents and businesses. Follow them, or they'll threaten, they'll fine, or just shut them down. Shut down businesses, shut down park districts, shut down individuals. The COVID-19 virus is spreading between people, but it's spreading regardless of vaccine status. Medical experts concede that COVID-19 is endemic now. Omicron is thankfully less severe and quickly replacing Delta. In Illinois, the vaccines and boosters are available to practically anyone who wants them, so the bureaucrats need to back off. It's time to end these endless and onerous emergency orders at the local, county, and state level. Governor Pritzker, Mayor Lightfoot, President Tony Preckwinkle, it's time to stop moving the goalposts. The Wall Street Journal just extensively highlighted the enormous population migrations from lockdown states like Illinois, California, and New York toward those states that kept their economies and schools largely open. For Illinois, between the spring of 2020 and this past summer 2021, the census data shows that a net of 151,000 people left Illinois for other states. Our residents and businesses who remain have faced so much adversity already. I talked with several business owners in my district in suburban Cook County and in surrounding areas, and here's what they wanted me to relay. They wanted to know, where is Cook County's science and data to justify these specific actions? New York and California local governments imposed a similar mandate several months ago, but look at the charts. They are seeing spiking cases too. So it proves this type of mandate does not make a difference. One restaurant owner told me that they're already dealing with staff shortages. He said, "We train our staff to serve food and beverages and to make our customers feel comfortable. It's not appropriate for them to make health inquiries of their customers. Why are they being forced to be the county's vaccine police?" He went on, "This order adds to public fear-mongering. It's caused unnecessary planned cancellations. It's going to hurt the Cook County businesses worst because customers can just go over the border instead." And later in this press conference, some of my colleagues are going to address that. Here's what another told me. "This is going to hurt Cook County businesses that cater to families with children. It's also a safety issue for staff, many of whom are teenagers, who will have to confront adults who are strongly for or against this policy." And this is probably the biggest issue as it relates to our whole region and the state itself, and that is regional tourism. We all know that tourism is a major component of the Illinois economy, and it's been hard hit over the last 2 years. So one leader told me this is going to create long-term harm for Chicago and Cook County. It's not going to add to business, it's only going to subtract. It's going to create extra work for all involved, and it's already caused one cancellation of a convention that normally brings in thousands of out-of-town attendees. Here's the reason why this is such a big problem. Most of the rest of the country is not doing this kind of mandate. And so what happens to the unsuspecting traveler who arrives from out of state and suddenly they find that they can't dine in here? It creates an unwelcoming situation, and it leaves a bad taste for our area. So in terms of event planners, they're making plans not just months in advance, but in sometimes years in advance. And for an event planner, it just makes it easier to choose a venue outside of Cook County or even outside of Illinois. One told me that Texas and Florida are having record years for tourism and convention business because they just keep taking our business. And she said, we're practically giving it away. Even Indiana is getting some of this business because they don't have the same kind of restrictions. And who gets hurt the most? It's the bartenders, it's the wait staff, it's the dishwasher, it's anybody who is relying on tips from travelers. Crane Chicago Business just reported yesterday that according to Oxford Economics, 27% of Chicago's job losses are tourism related. Hotel occupancy in 2019 was 75%. This year, it's half that. And this kind of mandate is going to present ongoing challenges for at least another year or maybe more. One elected local official told me, businesses know their clientele. If they want to voluntarily do this, and if they want to include that in their marketing, then that's up to them, but it shouldn't be forced on everyone. It was clearly a political decision. If it really was a crisis, why did they wait 12 days? Why did they wait until after the busy Christmas and New Year's celebrations had taken place? So let me just conclude my remarks here. As I talk to residents in and near my district, as I watch the news like all the rest of you, violent crime is the plague in Cook County. Carjackings, shootings, smash and grabs. These are daily occurrences. High taxes, heavy regulations, restrictions. These are the things that are afflicting our residents and businesses. Outmigration is high because Illinois' top Democratic leaders refuse to address the real issues that are hitting our residents hard. And instead of solving real problems, they're adding to them and stepping on individual rights and civil liberties along the way. Have we learned nothing from the last 22 months? These endless COVID-19 mandates are an egregious overreach of executive power, and they circumvent our constitutional processes. Let's find a better balance to educate and respect our residents and accommodate our businesses here in Illinois. Let's fight the larger threat to public safety that is ever present. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Morrison, and everyone for being here. Good morning. I'm State Representative Chris Boss. I represent the 51st District, which covers portions of suburban Cook County, as well as Southwest Lake County. And as Rep. Morrison pointed out, this proof of COVID vaccination mandate is another unilateral decision that is placing an excessive and inconsistent burden on our families and our small businesses. We have to stop for a moment and realize that this raises serious privacy concerns for personal medical information, not only for individuals, but for the businesses that are being forced to police this policy. We're not talking about showing proof of your child's Tdap vaccination to the school nurse. The nurse is a licensed medical professional. Your child's vaccination status is kept, in their private record. With an employer, any documentation that would be required is kept in a secure private personnel file with the Human Resources Department. What this proof of COVID vaccination requirement does is it forces people to divulge private personal medical information and show a photo ID to the host at Denny's or a front desk clerk at the LA Fitness, who very well may be just simply a teenager. Beyond that, we have to remember the struggles our small businesses have been and are currently facing. Countless businesses that I talk to on a daily basis are struggling to find staff to keep their doors open. Here in one of my communities, throughout all of the pandemic, not a single restaurant was lost. But opening back up, we've lost 2 already because they cannot find enough staff to work. This adds to that burden. They don't want to play police, and this simply won't be able to enforce the mandate even if they wanted to. Now, representing a district that straddles 2 counties, I know it's going to happen. I heard the conversations yesterday. People will stop going to businesses in Cook County and simply cross the street to go to the Lake County business. They're 2 small locally owned restaurants literally across the street from each other. They chose to go to the one without the mandate. Let me be clear. This isn't an issue of supporting vaccines or not. This is a unilateral decision, or this was a unilateral decision by the Pratt-Winkle administration, who followed the lead just like Governor Pritzker, and has been happy to sidestep the legislative process and produce inconsistent policies that once again target some but not on others. And once again, this will cause undue harm to our small businesses and franchises and continue the process of picking winners and losers. The way this is written, you can go to Walmart, walk around the store, no issue. But you can't visit the independent franchise-owned Subway inside of the Walmart without your vaccine card. You can go to the mall. You spend all day long walking around that mall. You can go to the food court if you get your food and leave the food court and then go sit in one of those comfy couch areas and eat your food. Again, inconsistency in these mandates are leading to detrimental effects. We're already seeing this from day one. This is already happening. Locally owned gym was almost empty last night, when normally it would be packed full of people with their New Year's resolutions. And this goes back to what I said earlier about forcing businesses to police private medical information. Now, I'm certain that a vast majority of people who go to the gym are either vaccinated or have antibodies. Many probably support and encourage others to get vaccinated, but they are rightly hesitant to divulge their personal medical information simply to enter a gym. We have to acknowledge that this mandate is a step too far, and the data we've seen out of New York City supports that too. These mandates don't work. The simple fact is, this isn't going to convince those who've chosen not to be vaccinated to suddenly go get vaccinated. All this is going to do is take another ethically questionable step that ultimately will be another hammer blow that causes many small businesses to close and forces more people to leave our state.
Good morning. Glad to be with you all. I'm Martin McLaughlin, state representative in the 52nd district. I am at the crossroads of 4 counties in my district: Kane, Cook, Lake, and McHenry. I was happy to participate today. I've got a little different take, as I was mayor of my community from 2013 to 2021, prior to being elected as state representative in the 102nd General Assembly. I have been fervently advocating for common sense and local control since May of 2020. As mayor in my town, I was offered the same emergency unilateral control opportunity from legal counsel, but I rejected it. At a time of crisis, I believe true leaders ask for more input from their councils, their commissioners, and their legislators, and not less. We stayed open throughout the COVID crisis while mayor without incident, using common sense safety measures. As a mayor, I had a unique perspective of witnessing firsthand exactly how the viruses and the mandates were affecting local businesses. The executive mandates from the county forced our citizens to stay within their homes, out of our schools, out of our places of worship, and closed an assortment of businesses. However, to Representative Boss's point and Morrison, big box stores were allowed to remain open, record profits, while devastating our Main Street businesses and our communities. As we enter 2020, the mayor of Chicago, the board president of Cook County, and Governor Pritzker continue unconstitutional use of these mandates on private citizens. We're entering soon our 3rd year of the 15-day experiment to flatten the curve. We need to learn to live with this virus and any future viruses in a better way to help protect the most vulnerable of our society. The data clearly shows who needs to be protected at this point. I am not anti-vaccine. I'm pro-common sense. With this mandate, as stated by Representative Boss, a person can have vaccination status, be COVID positive, and go into any of these establishments. How does that make any sense at all? I find it reprehensible that you need less information to vote or enter the country, it seems, than to go to a local pancake restaurant in Cook County. I've had enough, frankly, of elected officials acting as part-time epidemiologists, telling us it's either vaccine or ventilator. We've learned a lot in the past year and a half. It's time to put the experience and data and therapeutics into practice, drawing from successes from surrounding states, and stop living in a bubble. We can protect public safety of the residents while still allowing families and businesses to thrive in Illinois. I mentioned on the floor in June that we have massive worker shortages affecting every single industry. This hasn't changed. We're coming out of the worst year and a half of business, particularly for small businesses in Illinois. We need to allow local communities and local businesses to make the best decisions on how to operate safely and how to get their businesses back on track. After reviewing and speaking with several community leaders, it's pretty evident from their public releases that their police forces, in many instances, will not be tasked with enforcing these overreaching mandates. So who will be? To the point of the other 2 state reps, it'll be the receptionist, it'll be the restaurateur hostess, or it'll be somebody at the front desk of a health club. That's bad policy. People don't want to be asked medical questions by store clerks or restaurant hostesses. I've spoken to a number of business owners in my district, one in particular who was interested in coming on today, but then thought better of it, did not want to be targeted. This person owns 10 restaurants in Cook County, McHenry Lake, and he has given me his numbers, and they have been devastated in the last few days, not only in this Cook County restaurant, but by the fear that has been created, in his opinion, by these mandates. He has less people attending or occupying his restaurant, and he's actually had to release a number of workers. It is not a good position to be in. If the elected leaders would get off Twitter and outside their bubbles a little bit, maybe walk through the main streets of my district, I would be happy to escort them and have conversations direct with these business owners so that they can see the devastation that these mandates are causing.